You can't build a body that you love from a place of hate. You can't build a greenhouse out of red bricks. You know that the house is red underneath. The facade's going to wear away. You know, you fuel a body that you want from a place of hate. You get there and you go, I really don't feel good. That facade's going to wear away. And I think unless you build the body that you want from a place of respect and love, you're never going to be happy with it, right? I noticed that so many people were just overly obsessed with food and not getting the results they wanted. People would be fascinated to understand how little you have to change to get to where you want to be. That was a good spin,
That was a strong spin.
So underrated. So underrated.
Welcome back to the PerformWell Podcast. This is the podcast for you if you're looking for performance and wellness optimization so that you can not only smash your career, but also have a better life, better relationships, and better health. We believe that performance and wellness are yin and yang and work together. So listen in as we dive into topics that are going to help you optimize your life for the better. Welcome back to another episode of the PerformWell Podcast. And before we introduce everyone today, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for commenting. We really, really do appreciate it. And we're almost at 100 episodes. Sorry, Jude, that we couldn't get you on the 100.
I'm heartbroken, mate. I'm heartbroken.
But, Jude, how are we doing? Got an online fitness coach here.
Not too bad, mate. Not too bad. This is a lovely little setup. Got the sun coming through, kind of.
Beautiful. All the boats and the ocean. For those that can't see, we've got the ocean view over there, harbour. Around the corner, we've got the rest of Southampton and the grotty area over there, which we don't want to look at.
The smell of seaweed and
The beauty of Southampton. I don't know what you're on about.
And you'll hear a few seagulls here as well.
lovely.
Yeah.
But we've got Jude on today. So, Jude, can you introduce yourself a little bit? Let's talk about, like, what is your main mission with the content you put out, with the coaching you deliver? What is it that you want to have an impact on the world?
I think there's a lot more to someone's fitness journey than a lot of people realise. I think there's so many ways to go about it, but there's so many mistakes you can make along the way that have an impact outside of it. Like, you can get a great physique, you can have a terrible relationship with food. You can get a great physique, you can hate the way you look. Do you know what I mean? And I think my main mission is to get people where they want to go without sacrificing other areas of their life, or without sacrificing, you know, the way they feel about themselves, or, you know, their relationship to food, and kind of fixing those things along the way as well.
Okay. I mean, I like it. It is. It's a noble cause to go through, because It is a noble cause. It is a noble cause, because I think a lot of online fitness coaches just get jacked, look nice, and then they start producing programs.
Oh, mate.
And you've seen it in the space. There's so many people who go through, they get a nice physique, but they don't know what they're talking about when it comes to the education. Mm-hmm. You know what you're talking about when it comes to the education. Now, when it comes to kind of healthy living and healthy standards, what made you firstly become obsessed with healthy living and looking after your body?
So my journey's not, I wouldn't say an abstract one, but I think for a bloke, yes. And for me, I was quite young. Do you know what I mean? I wanted to lose fat when I was in my late teens, like most people do. Like, I was a rugby player. I was like, you know what? Let's get a little bit leaner. You know, like seeing lads start getting six packs, you're like, what's going on there? And I was like, let's get that. And then it kind of developed there. I lost fat, and it was great. And then it just went downhill. And like, what was a good habit turned into something that was horrible. Do you know, like all-consuming, like orthorexic to the 9th degree, like just horrible. Over-exercising, over-focusing on everything I ate. Like, you start demonizing foods, you just get down. And it was just not a nice place to be. And then obviously I've gradually pulling myself out of that and getting to where I am now, and then helping people with a similar thing. But like, the entrance level to where I am now it hasn't always been a, you know, like a positive journey. Put it that way.
So were you quite skinny when you were younger, or the opposite? Because this man's 6'3", by the way, just so you don't know. And normally, what I find with tall people,
6'2".
yeah, there you go.
180
with the shoes is an extra inch. But what I find with tall people, when they're younger, they tend to be on the skinnier side. So
not
curious.
Not for me. I was always taller, but I was always just like bigger. I was never overweight. Yeah. I was never like I was never like a large kid. I was always a rugby player.
So second row?
Always a bit of chunk. I was actually a centre.
Really?
I was a centre. I was quick, man. Still, I was quick.
Very good.
but yeah, no. So I was never. It was never like, oh, I need to put on mass. I was just never really cared about how I looked. And then I got to 16. I was like, girls would be nice. That's the story, innit, for everyone.
Yeah.
And then whether that is, I need to get big, I need to put on muscle, or I need to, you know, kind of lose a bit of weight, or whatever. Like, whatever direction that is for you, that's kind of, I think for most people, the catalyst is like, girls would be nice. It never works out.
No, you end up attracting more blokes.
Well, what's that saying? Like, you start in the gym to attract women, but you attract more men asking how you got in shape. Like, 100%. That is literally 1,000%. My journey. 1,000%. It's mad.
The only compliments I've ever had have been from men.
Yeah. And I think it's kind of the general thing. I mean, to be honest, you get some people who I just think there's less complimentary culture, especially in the gym. I think a lot of the time people don't want to turn around and be like, oh, your physique's looking good.
No.
Yeah.
I feel like we used to have like the gym manager we used to work with back in the day used to be like, yeah, you're looking good. Or I had abs, remember PT abs. He always be like, oh, Dan, you're looking good. I'm like, thanks, abs.
Well, no, it depends what day you catch abs
Well,
on.
it's also a different day.
You know who you're like.
He might just turn around
like.
and call me fat just for no reason.
I catch him a day where I'm like fat, and he's like, Nick, you fat. You need to get in shape, and I'm like, mate, what the fuck?
Thanks, abs. Appreciate that.
Cheers, mate.
Now,
That's how men do it, bro. That's how we motivate each other, man. We just shout abuse.
Giving each other
Just banter.
crippling body dysmorphia.
and then we solve it. But
Exactly.
I want to go on some kind of talking points with the stuff that you deliver, the coaching you deliver, especially because there's a lot of detail that you go into with your content, and you're helping so many people day in, day out to help themselves feel better about themselves overall. Now, a lot of what you've done is you've released recently a thing called the Food Freedom Formula. Am I right in saying? Can you talk a little bit in detail about that and what that is there to do?
So, I noticed that there's a thing I talk about that you can't build a body that you love from a place of hate, right? You can't build a greenhouse out of red bricks. I've talked about this. I love it. I came up with it, and every time when I came up with it, I was like, "That's fucking sick." Like it just whatever. If you want to build a greenhouse, and you're like, right, I'm gonna use red bricks. I'm gonna then paint over it green. You know that the house is red underneath. The facade's gonna wear away, and it's similar that if you build it, if you fuel a body that you want from a place of hate, you get there and you go, I look sick, but I fucking hate myself. Like, I really don't feel good. Like, that facade's going to wear away. And I think unless you build the body that you want from a place of respect and love, you're never going to be happy with it, right? And that is what kind of fed into the Food Freedom Formula, is that I noticed that so many people were just overly obsessed with food and not getting the results they wanted. And it was me for a long time. It required so much energy to think about these things, and you just weren't even getting where you wanted to go. So it was just you banging head against the wall and using so much energy. So I created it, which is essentially a 12 to 16 week framework that will teach people that they're not the problem to start. So say you track things, you lose fat, and you would get proven that okay, so it wasn't that I'm eating my carbs are making me fat, or it's not this. You prove to someone that I can lose fat. Like I'm not the problem here. It's what I've been doing before, right? And then gradually you kind of take the pressure off of tracking. You take the stress away from bad foods. You introduce the foods that you might think you can't eat and achieve your goals, right? The things that you have this bad association with, and then eventually you start to lessen that impact and that the effect they have on you. You build the evidence that you can lose fat while eating them and while enjoying food and while being confident around food. And then at the end of it, people will get to a point where they're free. Like Food Freedom Formula is such a wanky name, but I was like, alliteration, that's sick. And then I did a logo and I was like, that's sick. But it's one of those things. Like, I think being able to progress and achieve the goals you want without having to put so much energy into the things that don't even matter. Like, I think that's why I created it.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of truth in what you said, especially when you're saying about the acceptance of where you're at, because there's a time where I was in the best shape of my life, and I always say it was in the past because I'm not there yet. But at that time, I felt probably more self-critical about how I looked than before I went on the journey of trying to get in shape. And if you don't start off with accepting yourself and loving yourself in the first place, you're never going to get there when you get there in terms of your physical shape. In some cases, even worse. And like, it is very interesting you mentioned that. But Food Freedom Formula, I like that. I didn't know this before, but it's not a terrible name. Triple F, mate. Triple F.
But yeah, like I think, like you just touched on, you're not gonna feel good about yourself. Like you're just not. You're gonna get a great physique and absolutely like despise it almost, because you just like. Have you ever heard people say like, I wish I could go back to the day before I knew what a calorie was?
Yeah.
And like, that's so true, but it's because people get so obsessed with these things.
Yeah, but then back then you were younger, and when you're younger, your body responds better, and it's just easy.
That's what one dumbbell and you're like, that's bicep vein.
Mate, I'm 33, so now if I pick up a donut, mate, like before, I've always had a high metabolism. I can eat whatever, never gain fat.
See,
now it's opposite.
I was never lucky enough for that.
Really? Well, it comes with trade-offs. We talked about this before, me and Dan, didn't we?
We did, yes. We didn't.
But
yeah. I think the kind of the obsessive side of eating becomes. Let's be honest. It's all over social media. You see so many people on social media. Now, one thing you tackle is you talk about some of the, I like to call them fit influencers, till this sticks on there. You see people like it.
I go
fit influencers.
I'm more shitfluencers.
Shitfluencers. So I like that one too. But I think there's
Isn't that
so
what you guys
easy.
are?
Fit influencer. I'm a coach, mate, not an influencer. The amount of times I've had to say that.
You see my
That's
bio?
second nature now. When I first started posting content, I was like,
Everyone
educator,
influences.
coach, non-influencer.
Yeah.
I've never done a brand deal. Never done a brand unless
Night come knocking, I'm here for it.
unless
Would you do a brand deal if it came to...
fucking right, mate.
Yeah. And then would you finally label yourself as an influencer?
If some company wants to send me free food, that's it. That's all I want. Get a meal prep company knocking at my door, sending me free food. Don't pay me a penny. Just let me have it, and I'll talk good about it if it's good.
We said about that for a
That's
while.
all I want.
There's
That's
so
all I
many
want.
companies. I think there's like Lions. Is it Lions?
Lions Prep
Yeah,
or whatever,
Lions
yeah.
Prep. There's a load of them.
Mate, I follow all of them.
Yeah, and you just
I like
waiting
all
for
their
that day.
stories.
Protein Baker?
Protein Bake. That's he's local, isn't
Yeah. I've had one of his cakes. They're really good.
he? He dropped some stuff at the gym when I worked there. That was pretty unreal.
Gutted that I never tried it. But going back to kind of the obsessive side, reverse it a little bit because I've that rolled. The obsessive side of eating, because I think there will be some listeners out there who, similar to what you're saying. Do you know when we went back to it a couple of years ago now when they started putting calories on menus, and that sparked a very split debate between coaches, didn't it? And eventually, to start with, and I'm honest about this, I was actually I was against it, putting calories on in that manner, because I was sitting there on the fence of that emotive side of things, that it's going to trigger people who struggle with calories already. They don't need to see more about calories. But then when you delve into it, the conversation turns on its head, and similar to when we had Simon Squibble, and you have to understand it from two sides of a coin before you can make a judgment.
Every time.
Now, when it comes down to obsessive eating, how do people know if they're obsessively eating? What are some of the symptoms and traits that people have?
For me, I think it's you just deny it. Do you know what I mean? Like when I was at my worst, I knew something was up. Like I knew that there was an issue there. I just didn't want to address it. Like you just feel like you're banging your head against the wall. Like you're not making any progress, or like tiny little things are messing you up. Like tiny little things just mess you up. I'd have like a friend call me and cancel plans, and I'd just binge. I'd be like, oh. Do you know what I mean? Like I just have these tiny things that threw me off, and I think it's because it was using so much energy and so much time and so much brain space that I just had no time for anything else. Like, I think people know if they're obsessive about food.
Okay.
Like, they just don't tell themselves.
Okay.
They just don't want to accept it at all.
So something that goes really hand in hand with obsession about food, though, normally I find, is that people aren't very mindful. Like, for example, like when you're picking up food based on how you're feeling, as opposed to like being mindful of what's going on in terms of what's going on in your body. And I think that obsession, like a lot of people prioritize too much their work and other things outside of their health, to the point where they don't actually allow themselves to be mindful and prioritize their health.
No, I think
obsession can come from that place more than anything. But obviously there's many ways around it.
I think being mindful is one of the biggest things. Like, I mean, if you can teach yourself, like, you have to, in my opinion, you have to earn freedom, right? You don't just get it. You can't just like mindful eating, intuitive eating. Yeah, exactly, right? You have to earn it, right?
Freedom.
You have to earn it.
Gotta earn it.
You can't just go from not even thinking about nutrition to intuitive eating. You don't know anything about nutrition. So that's not intuitive eating, that's eating like shit most of the time. Do you know what I mean? Or like eating how you feel, right? You have to earn it. You have to teach yourself. You have to educate yourself. You have to learn about nutrition. You have to go through periods of, in my opinion, tracking and understanding nutrition, learning what goes into food and what goes into your body. Like the first time any of you tracked a spoon of peanut butter, you were like, what is that? Yeah. Or like a spoon of mayonnaise. You're like,
it's high protein, bro.
You're like, what is that? What is that? What's going on there? You're like, I thought mayonnaise was like good for you. It's like, fuck. It's like 300 calories in a spoon. You're like, never again. But it's that education and that knowledge that then allows you to be more mindful and to take a step back and to be more intuitive with things. And I think if you're not being mindful about food, it's game over. Like,
mate, 100%. And like as you said there, like you can't. Like I say, all three of us are probably in a place where we can intuitively eat to a point where we know if we're losing fat or building muscle. It might not be super perfect, but it will be at least there, right? A lot of people don't have that skill, and it's like, and it's because, you know, I spent years tracking. I'm sure you've spent your fair portion of it.
Yeah.
I think you
I
still
got an
track now.
80-day streak this year. I didn't realise they do. My fitness pal does streaks.
Yeah.
You get streaks for
To be fair,
tracking now.
I'm such a slut for a streak.
Yeah, I love
my
it.
Duolingo streak is nuts. I talk about this all the time. Guess my Duolingo streak.
Oh, don't tell me it's like 300 and something days.
Go on, guess it.
I don't know, but are you a gamer in the past?
I can tell you not massively.
Okay,
like,
so
never any good. I play games a lot, but I'm not good at them.
Okay.
What about snap streaks? Did you like Snapchat?
Nah.
No.
'Cause it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything.
I remember when I had a 365-day snap streak, and then the other person decided to not talk to me for a whole day.
Brilliant.
Lost it.
Go on, tell us.
As of this morning,
Yes.
1,334.
Are we going to hear it in a
language?
minute halfway through the
One
podcast?
Spanish.
We're gonna hit the thing.
Spanish. Ole.
Basically, I went to the Canaries when I was 17 and was like, I actually know no Spanish. So like 2 months before I went, I was like, right. 'Cause I was going out there for 6 months. No, 6 months, 6 weeks.
Yeah.
And was like, I know no Spanish. I should probably learn some. I'm going out alone. This isn't going to go well. And then I just never stopped. Because I love a streak.
So are we going to see a Jude Spanish coaching page soon?
Maybe.
Because there's a lot of Spanish
Jude
in the world.
coaching in Espanol.
So what's the second most popular language in the world? Above
Mandarin.
English. Above English.
Mandarin.
Yeah, Mandarin.
I think it's
I
Mandarin.
said second.
Oh, second.
I think it's Mandarin, English, Spanish.
I think you'll find
French.
Spanish is above English.
Isn't it? Is it?
It might be.
You've got
Honestly,
Cantonese
I
as
would
well,
say
haven't
the-
you?
I would have
As
said
a
the
first
same.
language, maybe.
Because Spanish is also Mexico as well.
Well, a lot of South America, yeah.
Yeah.
So Portuguese.
Don't tell them that
or
because they'll be
Spanish.
like, yeah, it's not Spanish, but...
Yeah, papi. You
Wait,
ain't
what
true?
was that?
Yeah, papi. There's a bit of Mexican.
You want some beans with your...
Anywho,
My God.
right.
Andale.
Can I go back? I want to go back and reverse again quickly.
So I'm terrible at this. I
I love it. I love it.
This is,
No,
what
it's
you, this
fine.
is what you guys listen for. You listen for this random shit.
Yeah, so it's like we were speaking about kind of obsessive eating. We got onto Mexican Duolingo. We love it though because we've done
Spanish.
podcasts in the past. Sorry,
Mexican isn't a language.
Sorry, Spanish.
Next week, French.
We're just gonna we'll
Je
start
parle
working
anglais
through
ou
it.
français?
But yeah, so in terms of where people are going wrong with the obsessive eating side of things, you said about being more mindful, and we touch a little bit on social media and the impact social media is having.
Yeah.
Now, I think there's some huge misinformation out there.
Yep.
We know it. What do you think one of the biggest lies people are told on social media?
For me, I think one of the biggest things is that people believe that to achieve what they want to achieve, they have to change loads of things. Like, I think people would be fascinated to understand how little you have to change to get to where you want to be, or to start making progress to where you want to be at least, right? Like, if someone was like wants to step on a bodybuilding stage, a little bit different, right? But for most people, that's not their goal. They just want to lose a little bit more fat, feel a little bit better about themselves. Like, I think social media, the wrong parts of social media will teach you that you've got to do like these mad pressure diets. This, you've got to do 30 days of fasting, or you've got to like cut things out, and you've got to do this, and you've got to, if you've got to train every day and all of this, you've got to do massive lifestyle overhauls. And I think if people actually realise that what they want is just on the other side of a few like habit changes and a few like being a little bit more mindful about things, and they'll like, it's mad. It's so mad. I get, I speak to my clients, and first time they come on, we assess a few things, and I'm like, right, so this week try to do like 2,000 more steps a day, and don't like think a little bit more about what you're eating. Don't track it. Don't stress out about it. Just be a little bit more mindful. And they're like, oh, I feel real good this week. You're like, no shit, mate. Like, do you know what I mean? Because you're making active changes, and they're so tiny, so minuscule. Like, you can have someone lose 10 kilos, and they're like, oh, I didn't even feel like I was dieting. It's like, no, of course, because you didn't change anything. You just maybe walked a little bit more, like, and it feeds into everything. You walk a little bit more, so you look after your nutrition a little bit more. Then you start feeling good. You start feeling a bit stronger. You're like, oh, I'm confident. I'm gonna step into a gym. You start training. You're like, oh well, I'm training, so I'm doing this. I'm resistance training, so I'm gonna focus on my protein. And then, like, just domino after domino. You take someone that wasn't even interested in fitness to someone that's like, oh well, I've trained 3 times this week. I hit my protein every day, and like me and the family go for walks on the weekends.
Yeah. And the trick is
it's mad to me. It's so mad.
Yeah, the trick is to sell them the idea that you're not going to make massive changes in the beginning, because a lot of them come to you and they want a plan straight away, like a 12-week periodized plan. Yeah,
they want sexy.
They want every little detail. They don't even go and use it anyway.
No, it's the shiny object syndrome.
Yeah,
on steroids.
Yeah.
There are some people that have the skill set where they can apply it, like for sure. Like engineers. I don't know what it is with engineers, but I've trained a few engineers, and they're just so logical, and they just apply what you teach them.
Autism.
Yeah, autism. Okay.
Just level of autism.
That's what it is.
So why is Elon Musk not shredded then?
Oh, because he's a wanker.
Because he's autistic as fuck. Like,
But like, it's interesting you say that, because similarly, and I've made a point before when we did some work with clients, and I was speaking to one of my clients, and I spoke about, like, if I turned around to them and said, here's a workout plan, here's a meal plan, which most people come to us and ask, let's be honest, most people go, but like, I just need a workout. I'm like, you don't just need a workout.
I'll prove it.
Yeah, I can tell you don't need a workout, because people go, I need a workout, I need a training program. I'm like, no, what you need is accountability, because if you needed a workout and a training program, you'd have gone on YouTube already, sorted yourself out, and you'd lost the weight.
Everything's on the internet now.
Yeah.
It's not a knowledge problem. It never has been a knowledge problem.
No.
Maybe 40 years ago it was a knowledge problem.
I mean, ChatGPT can literally be your personal trainer. You can go on your phone and you get to write you a detailed plan out for diet with a shopping list and a training program, and it
Put
can
it in
hold
an Excel spreadsheet.
and it can hold you
Like
and it can hold you accountable as a robot. Like, for example, you can ask it every day how things are going on, but it's not human.
people are like, are you
And it
worried
won't-
about your
it
job?
won't- Yeah,
I'm like, no.
and it won't be able to fix you. It won't be able to help you. Like, you need to have someone that has done this shit 6 months ahead of you at least in regards to what the goals are.
Yeah, I think I do get people asking me like, are you worried about your job? Are you worried about ChatGPT taking your job? I'm like, no, because I'm not a robot. Like, there are people that will do that will work for. Sick. Like, more life. Do you know what I mean? Good for them. Because probably would have worked for me. Like, if someone needs a coach, it's never a knowledge problem, because you've been able to go on bodybuilding.com for the last 25 years and find a program and a meal plan, right? Like, it's not a knowledge problem. It never has been. It's a habit problem. It's an accountability problem. It's a respect problem. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's so much more to it than people are like, you worry about your job. I'm like, no.
A lot of people don't even have a lot of people around them that are trying to achieve the goal they're trying to achieve.
Oh my god, I've had some mad conversations with clients about this.
Like, you know, the saying, like, you're the average of the 5 people you surround yourself, right?
Yeah.
There's cliche and there's balls cheese that is. It is true that
balls cheese.
balls cheese. Yeah, mate, this is a deep one.
It's a highbrow podcast.
Yeah, we're just gonna go out this day. This is not for kids. That's what you got to make sure we put at the end. But yeah, for obviously, I've completely lost track. What were we talking about?
You were talking about
I'm talking about ball cheese.
Ball cheese. Yeah, so ball cheese, guys, don't want that.
No, you're talking about clients and how
the average of the people that surround
There you
themselves
Yes, so the average of the 5 people you surround yourself with, most people don't have people around them that are going for the same goal they have. And a lot of people are also shy of going to their friends, right, I'm actually going to go get myself in shape. So what they need to do is find someone on the internet, a coach, for example, go down the route of doing it yourself, get in shape, and then they start asking how you've done it. And then that's when you go, this guy helped me. But you need to surround yourself with someone that's got the skill set, and that is absorbing that kind of energy and also then helping you get that result.
I mean, you always feel pressure. Like, you're always going to feel pressure from people around you that aren't doing the same thing. That's life. Like, regardless of what you're trying to do. When I started my business, it's like people look at you funny, and you're a bit like, well, actually, no, this is kind of what I want to do. You first start posting content, people look at you funny. Like, I remember going to the gym like 2 weeks after posting my first piece of content, and I'm just like, fucking hell, mate. People are such wankers.
Yeah.
Like, but you just can't. That's life. Like, if you do things, most things, 99% of the things people say about you are a reflection of them, not you. Like, always will be. Like, you know, like, it just is.
It is.
It tells you more about them than it tells you about you.
As long as you're not being a dick, then of course,
if you just like,
if you're being a
just
dick,
said
then you're a
something
dick.
that was a
But
fucking
most
dick move,
of the time, I completely.
if you're doing something positive or it's something that you want to do and people criticise,
I think if you're doing something for you and it's not hurting anybody, then there's nothing wrong with that.
more life.
I spoke to one of my clients recently. She's been training for a triathlon and she's doing absolutely fantastic.
Animal.
Yeah, machine.
These people are different. Grade.
I know. I love
doing
it.
an ultra marathon at the moment. I'm like,
Amazing, isn't it? But it's a different level of motivation because, like, I tell her basically what she needs to do in a structure and she can just go do it. But she knows. But this is similar to the conversation we were just having. She was saying to me about, like, she was really struggling with a group of people that she's surrounded with. She's doing a triathlon. I said, look, triathlons, long distance events are lonely. That is one thing you'll know from the start. But you can surround yourself with communities which will help you with.
Yes.
Like, I can support you from where I am now, but you need people that can be there when you're out on your runs, when you're out on your cycles, when you're doing a swim, that you can go with and do stuff. Similarly, look, PerformWell's fucking shit. I can't lie. But the community and rapport of being around people who have a similar interest, it can help. It can help some people.
I'm a big, like, fuck PerformWell guy, but if it was the community with a different approach to it, it'd be the best thing in the world.
Agreed.
It'd be the best thing in the world. If you could make, like, a sustainable slimming club that didn't weigh people publicly, like, maybe that's the evolution of the food freedom.
I mean,
formula.
everything is like one thing I learned in uni is that everything depends. Like everything is context dependent. Slimming well can help one person and destroy a lot of other people.
Yeah.
Like talk about the calories on the menu. Like I never saw a problem with it because I now look at calories on the menu and it actually helps make decisions.
Yeah.
But I can also see how it can be a negative thing.
Well, coming from my background, like coming from an eating disorder background, calories on menus thing was like, I agreed with it. I was like, right, I could see both sides of the coin. I was like, I know that if this was me 3 years ago, I'd go into a restaurant and it'd like spiral me, and I'd just try and find like the lowest thing on the menu. But like, if you've got the option, if you go in and they go, do you want a calorie menu? Do you want a non-calorie menu? Sick.
Yeah.
Sick. And now, you have the information, you use it to make decisions. It's not a problem, right? If you're in that place, it's awesome.
I think they should put protein on the menu.
Oh, mate.
I want to see. If you got calories, I want to see calories and protein.
I'd be interested on that.
I want to
Actually,
see calories and protein.
Yeah.
Have you
That
seen
would
the
make-
Chick-fil-A like grilled nuggets?
No.
I want them so
No.
bad, mate. I would have Chick-fil-A in England. It's just like a fucking packet of just like roasted chicken.
Nice. Just like deep fried.
breaded. No, just like grilled.
Really?
Just like grilled chicken pieces, and it's just all protein. And imagine that as a little. Imagine you could pop to like Mackey's and get just like a.
See, that would be incredible.
Grilled
Yeah.
chicken, just like all protein. That's the dream, mate. That's
I
the
used to
dream.
do when I did my 50 grams of protein. People shocked me so much with that series, and I don't know why that series did so
50,
well.
15?
50 grams of protein. So I did 50 grams of protein in different things, and I did it for McDonald's. The most viral video I ever did was from a McDonald's video.
It's always food.
It's always food.
It's always food.
It is. And it just turned out that I was just putting my Fitness Pal, like literally their macro system on there, screenshotting it and putting it alongside the food I was buying. And that went viral because people actually didn't know how much protein was in the stuff that they're eating. So they go into McDonald's, they order a Big Mac and go, I'm just eating this because it tastes good. But then you don't think of the nutritional content of what you're eating because who goes in McDonald's and
Highest
doesn't find
protein
nutritional?
food is the Whopper.
It is the Whopper.
Yeah,
Is it?
50
you're
grams
right.
of protein, I think.
Yeah,
Actually,
in one Whopper.
For how many calories?
Yeah.
750.
That's actually not bad.
It's not horrendous.
not
It's actually not bad.
It's not horrendous.
It's not horrific.
And I think it's 19 nuggets is 50 grams of protein off the top of my head. But this is kind of interesting stuff, and I love the fact you mentioned protein on menus because I think that would be so useful for educating people going forward because that's the one thing a lot of people just don't get. We are so, I want to say, underproteinated. as
a nation.
As a nation, we're underproteinated because people don't eat protein. The issue we now have, though, is that companies have seen this as a market gap and they're producing things that aren't high protein. They're going, that's high protein.
Nuts.
Yes. Yes.
Nuts.
But yeah, but it's
Oh no,
just-
sorry. I meant like it is nuts.
Yeah.
But like also nuts.
Yes.
Right. Like people are like, oh, high protein
Yeah.
nuts. Like they're not
For the volume.
But,
No.
but
Fat source, that's a
protein's
fat
actually
source.
protein's actually really, really important for many reasons. And governments will actually base the foods. What's the best way for this? The food production for like a civilization based on how much protein per person
Really?
it can serve.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
I find it.
protein is very important.
I find it crazy. Like I remember speaking to people, family members even, and it's like, I haven't done any exercise today. I don't. Why would I have like protein bar or anything? Why would I have protein?
Yes.
And it's like protein's not a fucking supplement.
No.
Like protein's not like it's a essential part of your daily nutrition.
Yeah.
That you should be having way more of.
Yeah.
I remember speaking to clients like, they're like, oh, I've actually I've hit my protein goal, whatever it was, 120 grams for the last 4 days in a row. I feel amazing. I'm not hungry all the time. You're like, yeah, that's because you've eaten less than 20 grams a day for the last 40 years.
Yeah.
So let's explain real quickly for the viewers out there, just for those that don't know what protein does. What does it do?
Protein health is the building block of your muscle and your cells. You need protein to be able to replicate. You need to repair. You need to make sure that your body is high functioning. Without protein, we don't have any of the necessity to drive our growth forwards. It was stunted. You don't see a lion who sits there and doesn't eat protein for a day. No. For example, I know this is a different creature, but at the end of the day,
A vegan would have a go at you right now.
I know a vegan would have a go at me.
I was vegan for 2 years.
Were you?
No
Worst 2 years of my
way.
life, mate.
I did it for 30 days just recently.
Shit.
Yeah.
I actually found it
I've done it
okay.
as well, it's horrible.
But that is because, and I don't take offence to this, my partner is vegan. She's been vegan for 7 years.
Yeah.
So
Right.
but she still doesn't mind people turning around and saying like that's vegan shit or all these kind of things. Because I will be honest,
You do you.
the amount of fibre from it is just ridiculous.
crazy.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. But going back to that, so protein is an essential macronutrient that you need in your diet.
Correct.
And actually, one of the biggest indicators of health is how much muscle density you have in your body, especially later life. So if you have low muscle
Muscle and
density,
bone.
that's it.
You need strong bones.
And you need it. And if you see a cross-sectional area of someone's thigh, they show someone in their
Oh,
70-year-old who's got...
Triathlete.
That's
He's a
the one.
triathlete.
Yeah.
That's nuts. Have you seen that?
Yeah, the cross section between the two.
Just the
it's the
sedentary
same
guy
size, but
and
one
the
guy is like
yeah.
massively withered. and the other guy's like this insane muscular definition.
Oh, it's just it's crazy X-ray.
But people don't focus on that part because it's all about looking pretty. So you've got to think about these factors going forward in life. And one of the big things that I've taken away from this is you don't want to be that 70-year-old that's fallen over and you've cracked your hip and you're paralyzed for like the rest of your life after that.
The correlation between I'm gonna quote studies that I haven't read in ages now, and it's gonna be really bad. There's two things. There's the correlation between grip strength and life expectancy, which is huge. Yeah. Obviously, it's correlation, not causation. But like, I mean, the stronger people are, the stronger their grip is, the more likely they are to the longer they live. And there's a crazy stat that I'm not gonna try because I'll butcher it. But there was a really high percentage of people over the age of like 65 that if they broke their femur or if they fell and broke something, the return of them out of hospital was like 30%. Like they never leave hospital again.
So people with stronger grip strength.
Two different studies.
That's what it's all about.
So there's the grip strength and life expectancy.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then there's certain percentage of people over the age of whatever, if they fall, break a hip, break a big bone, break a femur, whatever, there's like a 30% or 70% chance they never come out of hospital again. That's just so like if you learn about sarcopenia and muscle wastage, you're like, fuck, you need to get on top of it. Like, Peter Attia?
No, not personally.
I don't know personally. He's a scientist.
No.
He talks about the centenarian decathlon, which is like basically training to be 100. Like you're not thinking short term. You're not like, right, I want bigger arms. Like, this is gonna be sick. It's like the whole idea, the whole mindset of training is, I'm gonna make myself strong, durable, flexible, resilient, live longer. Like, it's nuts to me that people don't even think about that. But that's 90% of the people in the gym haven't ever thought about.
Do you know Guy Brian, the one who tries live forever?
Oh, Brian Johnson.
Apologies for interrupting the podcast. We know you're getting fully engrossed into this episode, and we really appreciate you stopping on the video on YouTube or on Spotify if you found us through one of the search pages. Make sure to leave a review and a subscription if you haven't already. But we just wanted to interject a point here that me and Nick have 15 years of coaching experience between us, and it's only getting better as we've got better guests on the podcast. The only way we can do that, though, is with the growth of our program that we've just released. We've got a 12-month PerformWell program, which has just dropped, and we'd love you guys to get involved in it. If you want to know more details, make sure to head to the description, as we've got our website in there, which can give you a full overlay of the program. We're looking to help career-driven professionals, entrepreneurs, small business owners, and anyone dominate their life by improving their lifestyle. Me and Nick like to claim ourselves as experts in this area, and if you want to check out some of our other transformations, I'm sure you do. We've got some amazing people who have performed so well off the back of this program. Have a cracking day, and we really appreciate your time. Let's get back to the podcast.
Brian Johnson, that's the geezer.
Nuts.
Yeah. I mean, his lifestyle is so
horrifying,
unsustainable, obviously, for the average person.
He takes his son's blood.
Yes,
it's horrible.
That was okay. So I also fell down the hype of like going, fuck me, what is going on here? Apparently, it was an experiment, and his son agreed, and they both went and willingly both went to do it, and also his dad was involved.
It's crazy.
It is crazy.
Yeah, it was 3 of them, wasn't it?
Yeah, but it proves that elitists like children's blood. So
he also measures his morning erections.
There goes the video, gets demonetized.
Yeah, you fucked it now. It's gone.
He measures his morning erections. If you didn't know that,
does he?
That's a marker for his health. It's how strong and how long, I believe, his morning wood is. Because he's like, if I'm not having that, then I'm not healthy.
He measures everything, and to be honest with you, he also strength trains every single day. I personally don't see the point in doing it every single day, but he's suggested that the science shows that you should strength train every day, or at least strength train.
Look, as he's an astronaut.
Yeah.
He's an astronaut. He's on the frontier. If that's what we need to learn things about longevity, sick. I don't want to be the person, but if someone's got to do it, someone's going to do it, right? Like, if we're cavemen, he's the scout that goes out and like checks goes out 10 miles and goes like, there's a village over there. Do you know what I mean? Or there's fruit trees over there.
Yeah.
And like comes back and tells the group, he's like, right, there's fruit trees over there, we need to go there. He's that, but for health and longevity. So if he needs to go and be the scout, fucking more life.
We'll find out some really interesting stuff.
I'd rather not.
No, I was going to say, we all keep coaching people in the way we're doing it, but I'm personally not going down the route he's doing. I'm not measuring my morning wood right now, but I don't need to do that shit. That's not my morning
my cup of tea.
I mean, look, I'm getting into my 30s, and I do think that I still have a passion about being aesthetically pleasing, at least in my eyes. So look, for those listening that do want to get in shape, we're not saying that getting in shape is a bad goal. We're not saying that. No. But what we're saying is that your health and longevity are going to be more important, because otherwise, what's the point? For example, bodybuilders, okay, we could say objectively they look better, or subjectively they look better in the eyes of certain people. At least that's their whole point of their goal. But some of the most unhealthiest people on the planet when it comes to fitness.
The only sport, sport. I don't believe it's a sport. Yeah, whatever you want.
Yeah.
It's the only sport where on performance day you're physical worst shape.
Yeah.
Like you perform the worst. You're depleted. You're like tired. Your hormones are in the fucking ground. Like it's the only sport where on show day you're like absolutely ruined.
I mean, and PED abuse, like steroid abuse, is going to destroy you. Like a lot of these bodybuilders are dying young, and when I say young, like 30s, 40s, sometimes 50s, but they're dying younger than they should because of these steroid abuse. We all know Joey Swole, right?
What guy?
Yeah, legend.
I love Joey Swole.
He was obviously on PEDs. I think he was in
Joe Aesthetics.
Joe Aesthetics.
Yeah, not Joey Swole.
Oh yeah, Joey Swole's still alive.
My bad. Sorry.
He's a guy.
Joe Aesthetics. Obviously, he was potentially on something else as well, which compounded.
There's a lot of people.
But there's a lot of people. There's a lot of people that are abusing steroids. They're aesthetically pleasing. They attract everyone on that side of things, but their health gets neglected, and now they're not here to enjoy life for another 34 years.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But we're an epidemic at the minute where 16, 17, 18-year-olds are starting to inject themselves with steroids to try and fit into the culture.
Steroids, SARMs, whatever it is, peptides. Like, I used to speak to people in the gym, and I was like, "You're looking big, mate." Like 17 years old. He'd be like, "Yeah, I've started taking." I'm like, "Excuse me?"
You haven't even got through puberty.
I was like, "Your testosterone is the highest it's ever been."
Yeah.
I was like, "And you've just like
tell me about it."
Jacked up. You're like, "That's fucking nuts." Like it's never crossed my mind.
No.
Like, and it never will, because I think once you get a little bit educated, you're like, "Oh, trade-off's a bit scary."
Yeah.
Well, I've taken steroids. I've said it before. I've taken Tren. I've taken Test. Some of the worst. I know Tren.
I didn't know that.
Tren's one of the worst ever. Yeah, that's why I'm so jacked, mate.
I was
the worst thing is no one ever asked me if I was taking steroids because I wasn't big enough. But that's the most crippling thing about it. But no, I've taken it because I got sucked into that trap of like competing on stage and seeing everyone that was just so much better than me, and then I've learned things about what they were taking. I took it myself, fell down the trap of it, and now I couldn't think of anything worse to put in my body.
It's nuts. It's so crazy.
Like, you will screw yourself up. And for those listening that are 21 or younger especially, like, don't do it. Like, you're going to be surrounded by people your age that are probably going to compete in bodybuilding at the top level. That's the age they're doing it, and it's going to get them there. But unless you're doing that, you're going to fuck yourself up. I know a 21-year-old recently that asked me about Anavar usage because I had Anavar in the past, and I'm like, don't take it. Like, why would you take it at 21 especially?
Don't need it.
Like, if you're going to do it, you have to be a bodybuilder at the top of your game, competing against other people on it. Then you've got an argument for it. But then even then you need to be sensible.
Yeah. I have one big part about bodybuilding, and I thought about this after our conversation with Amy last week. Yeah. Amy, who had the podcast, she's a pro bodybuilder. Not pro, sorry. She's really fucking good at what she does. Will be pro one day. But I thought in my head, and I was discussing, I was like, do I want to be the dad that is the one who sat there in a muscle fit top, fucking wham and jacked, and looks great?
Hell yeah.
Or do I want to be the dad that's able to run and chase after my kids and not get out of breath after 5 minutes?
Fucking heart
Both,
attack.
buddy. Both
together.
Let's go, buddy.
Together. So that's one big thing that I think in my head, and I'm very much towards the performance aspect and looking pretty these days. And it's very much that kind of switch that I think a lot of people... Look, Mike Thurston has started running. And Mike Thurston used to be an advocate for training 5 days a week.
He's the aesthetic king, mate.
He's beautiful in body.
If he started running,
like... Exactly.
People have started realising that there's way more to life than just being jacked. Like, I spoke about this the other day. I was like, I'm training the least amount. I'm lifting the least amount I've ever had. Still 4 days a week, but like... When I first started training, I was 16. I was doing 6 day a week push-pull leg split, like fucking high volume. I looked at it the other day. I made a video on it. I was like, let's see if I can find this. I found it. I was like, I wouldn't. If someone gave that to me now, I would not in a million years. I'd have a headache every time I left the gym. Yeah, like, I train for more than an hour and 20 minutes, and I feel like I'm about to pass out.
But do you know what? You can look good and not train like a bodybuilder. Like how much do you think social media has changed, especially men in this case, men's perception of like how they look in comparison to everyone else?
Physique inflation is mad. Have you seen those photos of like Hugh Jackman as Wolverine? His first Wolverine, and now him now. Yep. He's like 20 years older. Yeah. Like super jacked, super lean. In the us three look better than every superhero in the early 2000s movies, and I will put money on that.
Agreed.
I'll put money on that. Like, but you just, and now you've got the inflation of physiques on social media and in like mainstream media. It's huge.
Zac
It's
Efron.
so crazy. Zac Efron, Baywatch.
But only
oh my
recently did he
God.
come out
He
about
was
that.
in
That took 5 years.
I've never seen anyone that lean on
No.
screen. Like, that is crazy.
He was vascular, mate.
Dick skin lean.
Yeah.
Like, huge. Just like, and then you see him in Iron Claw, and he's still that big.
Yeah.
But like,
But now it's crazy that it took so long for him to confess what he was doing at
And
the
The
time.
Rock's still
And The
natural.
Rock's still natural.
The Rock's still natural.
Yeah.
What's the other mate?
I mean,
His
the
mate
Rock's
eats duck eggs.
Samoan, right?
Oh.
Yeah, he may as well be natural.
So
to be fair.
Samoans
You seen the
are-
photo of him at
Samoans are
16?
big.
Have you
Yeah.
seen- mate.
Yeah.
He sat there at 16 and like jacked with a mustache.
Yeah.
Like let's like,
like, I'm 22, I can't
remember
grow a
Tommy
moustache.
Tommy Galpin. Yeah, he was 17 when I first met him. and
22,
he
I
was-
think.
22 now, but he was big
Yeah.
at that age, and there's no way he was taking roids, mate.
No, he was natural. But
I
I think
was
that
like-
that's like, it's the conversation that comes in again. It's the disillusioned side of things for social media, and we get brought into just this crazy world. And for people starting their journey, they see that and think, how am I going to get from A to B the quickest?
It's
And
so stressful.
it is stressful because the thing is, these conversations we have with younger people. Look, I go back onto the kind of context of spinal injuries. There has been an increase in spinal injuries in young males between the ages of 17 to
Really?
24. Yes, because they're not lifting well. They're just fucking hammering the shit out of the volume without understanding progressive overload.
I remember when the first time, my first ever viral video was about 3 months into posting videos. It was on Facebook. It was got like 1 million views or something, and it was just about, it was me. It was a meme I made about bending your back. About like, it was me doing Jefferson curls
Yeah.
and seated good mornings.
Yeah.
And it was just boomers like, you're gonna hurt your back. That's
Yeah.
a really easy way to hurt your back. I was like, actually, if you train your back,
Your back's
doesn't-
fine.
you don't fuck it up.
Yeah.
And it was just so funny.
But that's the
People's
thing.
idea of
yeah.
like injury risk and injury prevention is nuts. It's like the whole knee over toe thing. It's like nobody needs every toe. It's like, well, what happens when you walk upstairs?
Mate, if you look at tribes people, right, like in the jungle, haven't met anyone from the modern world, they all bend their backs, they sit in really deep
Yeah.
squat
You
positions,
pick up anything off the
knees
floor.
over toes.
You curl your back to pick things up. It's like watching strongmen.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, they're strong as shit and they don't get injured that much. And they're
No.
picking up huge stones.
That's a really good point. Because Matt Portelli mentioned it recently on his Instagram, but I've seen this. There's a lot of strongmen with rounded spines,
Yeah.
but they've actually built their strength in that position so they can cope with the demands of it.
that like thoracic rounding is huge.
I'm not saying that you should have a bent back when doing deadlifts, for example, but like there are ways around. You don't have to like have your biomechanics doesn't have to match exactly what you believe to.
If you
see people do.
strengthen muscles in ranges of motion, all of them, all the ranges of motion, you'll be more durable.
You will.
End of story, right?
Yeah.
Like the only way positions are dangerous is if you don't ever expose your body to them, and then you all of a sudden expose your body to them under load.
Yeah.
Like if you've never done a deep squat and then you try to squat 150 kilos, that's the grass, you're gonna hurt yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you've never really bent your back before and then you try and pick up 40 kilo sack of potatoes. I used to work in the kitchen. I remember I started picking up sacks of potatoes, and the head chef was like, "Don't do it like that. You're gonna hurt yourself." And I showed her a video of me deadlifting.
Have you seen those?
250 kilos? And I was like, "I'm not gonna hurt myself. Like this is a 5 kilo bag of spuds. I'll be fine. I promise." And she was like, "Okay, I'll shut up about lifting now." And I was like, "Thank you." I was like, "Let me just lift these bags of potatoes, please."
Mate, the worst thing of those manual labour safety
Manual handling. I was about to
posters.
come into that. Yeah.
Lift with a
Like
straight
you got
Yeah.
like within a meter 5 kilos, out here 2 kilos, and it's like what the fuck, mate? Like we do lateral raises with 12 kilos.
I
What the
think
hell?
manual handling training should get in the bin, and they should just show people videos of people lifting with
Yeah.
different
They should
positions.
just show
body
Russian
positions.
weightlifters doing power
Yes.
cleans
Yeah.
with like 300 kilos. And
Yeah.
you're just like, huh, okay, that's what the body's capable of.
Bro, they demonstrated the vertebrae being jam donuts, and if you bend too far one way, it squirts out.
Well,
And
have
I'm,
you seen
and
the,
I'm like, fuck's sake, man.
well, that was all the Stu McGill stuff was all done on a pig study, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was all done on dead pig carcasses that were just being bent.
Yeah.
They were like, rounding your back's really bad for it and like really bad for injury. It's like, that's because you've done all your studies on dead pigs.
Yeah.
Not one human, like.
What's the thing with like McGill stuff as well? I was looking at one of Adam
three.
Meekins. Do you follow Adam Meekins at all?
Sounds so familiar.
Adam Meekins, he's fucking.
I might
quality
recognise him,
content.
actually.
He's a physiotherapist, but he's so fucking in tune with like just. He's an older guy, but he's so in tune with like modern day lifting as well, and understanding how the body should move. And he's calling out a lot of bullshit chiropractors as well. But he talks about the kind of the rounding in the back and how the education around it is so poor. And he called out Stuart McGill, basically saying because McGill taught the big three, but the big three are static holds in a stationary position with a flat spine.
To literally like rehab spines.
Exactly, to rehab spines. But actually, to rehab a spine, you need to teach it to move again because it is a mobile joint. Like it's a mobile mini
It's a
joint.
bunch of joints.
Mate, don't get me started on knee over toe because because I told you before, when I was in uni, only a few years before you, the science said that if your knee went over your toe, it would fuck your knees up.
So
now it's been proven that actually knees over toes can be very beneficial.
there are high school and college weight rooms that like people have to train knees over toes in secret because they if their trainers see them. Like this is all America. I remember knees over toes guy was talking about it the other day. He was like, I've had people message me saying that they do my program in private because they're not allowed to put their knees over toes in the gym. Crazy.
So
And you look at all sports, any athletic position.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, I was watching a
nuts.
video of I don't know how familiar you guys are with football. There's a 17-year-old Argentinian player at the minute who's in the news, and there was a video of him dribbling through players, and he's flexing through the hips through extended ranges. He is so mobile on the ball. He like getting over players, and just the mobility in it is insane. But it's all split-second mobility. It's stuff where ranges of motion. People would see that if you just did that in everyday life and be like, shouldn't do that. You can hurt your hip. Shouldn't do that, you can hurt your knee. But it's fascinating because, as you say, when you speed it up and don't think about it, people go to those ranges anyway, which is frustrating.
and then you get injured if you don't train them.
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, ballistic stretching, like obviously where you're doing like a stretch but under an explosive movement, was once again one of those things that was frowned upon. But it can be very effective if you're used to doing it. You start off with just doing static stretching with full range of motion and build up your tolerance and competence with it, and you'll be surprised at how your body can move better.
I never talk about training. This is quite nice. Actually.
Training's good.
Oh man,
My Instagram's all nutrition.
we always talk about diet, haven't
Yeah.
we? To be honest with you, the last couple of
All
episodes
my
is
Instagram
nice.
is nutrition because
Yeah.
that's like mainly what I focus on with clients. But like,
Well,
it's
maybe
so
somebody's
nice to talk about training because people are just like,
You're
don't
gonna
know
get some
that
juicy
you're so
reels from
optimistic.
this, mate. That go on your Instagram.
Yeah.
That will help you guys.
Yeah,
People
for sure.
never talk about.
But people don't talk about training because I think they think that everyone goes diet's the easiest thing to solve, but then nobody talks about training, and people train
Yeah.
poorly, and then you get people turn around, and then you have all the problems coming from the mobility aspect. People don't move well these days. We really don't move well.
It's upsetting.
It is
It's
upsetting.
genuinely upsetting when you see people that aren't able to do things, and you're like, oh, I'm 40, man. You're like, you're 40.
Yeah.
You're 40. You're only 40.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you should be able to run.
Yeah.
Do you know most people don't sprint after the age of 30 ever again?
Yeah, I've heard about
Most
it.
people don't
way.
sprint or jump after the age of
When's
30.
the last time you sprint? Oh, you're not over 30.
I'm a basketball. I also play basketball.
Fair enough, yeah.
I think he's
I
all
haven't
right.
I haven't sprinted since before 30.
So you sprint. Just go and sprint, mate.
I need to go sprint tomorrow.
Well,
as well.
we're walking to town. I'm not sprinting in
I'll
these.
sprint today and I'll find
but-
another. Yeah.
But I tell you what, like, you know, everyone's got the story of like, maybe it is you, maybe it's whatever, but like the person that has gone and played 5-a-side football and like pulled their hamstring,
Yeah.
like, or like pulled their Achilles and fucked themselves up because they haven't played football in 15 years, and then they go and play a full-on 5-on-5 game. They're like, yeah, like it's because you haven't actually sprinted in 15 years.
Yeah.
Like it's nuts. It's
Yeah.
do you know what I mean? You it's like benching 100 kilos and not benching it for 15 years and gonna go bench 100.
I can still do it.
Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, but old man strength's different.
dad strength.
Dad strength, old man
I
strength.
can't wait for
Like
that.
they
I
can
can't wait
just
for that
lift
second
heavy.
puberty.
When it hits you.
Come on.
But I tell you what, interesting thing on the strength topic. Now, we're all familiar with James Smith. He's been doing TRT recently, hasn't
Yes.
he?
Yes.
And he'd been doing it, and he's so open about it, and I appreciate that with him. He's been talking about he's not doing it for physique, he's doing
also
it for
starting a
like
company,
health.
isn't he?
Yeah, he has, yeah. And that changes it. Of
course he has.
Yeah, of course he
No, I
has.
love James.
But he has spoken a lot in detail about TRT and the impacts he's had on his body as well, and the effects of his later life when testosterone starts to drop, and that's when people start to see the biggest impact on their bodies, their health, and their longevity. Because then people don't take root, and it similarly comes into the conversation you were talking about, where people over 40 just will not look after themselves
Whittle
and do
away.
anything, and they'll just whittle away. I've got a 53-year-old guy at the minute who said he was one of the most active cricketers he could ever do, and now he can barely bend over to pick up a ball.
It's nuts.
Crazy.
Like I've said for years now, like, mate, as soon as I get to that point, I'll do TRT. I'm not going to take it when I'm 22.
No.
Maybe when I'm 42.
Yeah.
It might be a different conversation.
Yeah,
But like, just like such an essential part of male health.
it is.
It's the same thing with females. It's like if your hormones are fucked up, sort them out.
Yeah.
That's why I mean, look, I'm not going to get into female politics here. I'm quite anti-birth control because I've seen it ruin girls that I know.
Yeah.
Just like absolute, like fuck their bodies up, fuck their hormones up. Like it is just. If there was a male equivalent and it was like, right, so you're going to take this, you don't worry, you won't. It's birth control. You'll be fine, but it's going to tank your testosterone. No one's taking it.
No.
That is
I
a
know
thing, though.
no one. I know no one that's taking
That is
it.
a thing.
And
Yeah.
and you just expect women to be like, yeah, I'll bite the bullet.
Yeah.
It's like, no. Like, don't.
I've said it to my partner many times.
Most girls take it from like 12, 13.
Well,
Yeah.
Elle said to me the
crazy.
other day, she won't mind me mentioning this, but she said to me the other day, she was like, I don't want to come off the pill because I've been on it since I was 16, and if I come off it, I'm going to have a second puberty.
Yeah.
And it will just repeat itself again because her hormones are so used to being in that kind of what's the word? Just
Like suppressed
state. Yeah, just not understand. The body isn't moving how it should.
Yeah.
And like, I feel for women, I really do. And like a lot of the ladies that come in, I've got a lady who's 37 who's perimenopausal, you know, and she was on birth control for years. It's changing. Everything is changing. And I agree with you. If there was birth control that would kind of a male could take and it wouldn't have horrible side effects, then I would. And I have said to Elle, I said, look, I don't want you to be on birth control anymore, but it's your choice. But no, this is the thing. I think people get so used to doing it now, and you would have thought after however many years
it's definitely
birth control's been around.
societally like normal now.
Have you heard the
It's
horror
moved
stories of
behind
like
change.
people coming off birth control and not being attracted to their partners?
Really?
You know about that?
No.
There's women that have come off birth control to have kids and then go, actually, nah, not attracted to you.
interested.
Or this happens. I find this hilarious. Come off birth control, realise they're a lesbian.
Wow.
Mate, I remember hearing about this the first time. Hilarious. But like your hormones dictate
Is
so
that
much.
what happened to Philip Schofield?
I think he was more attracted to children than.
I take it.
Come off birth
I take it. We're just
No.
accepting we're gonna get money off this one.
That's the other BBC guy.
Is that not Philip?
Is it? No, that's Phil Schofield. It was a 15-year-old.
No,
wasn't it?
the BBC, the Irish guy. I think he was the white haired. I can't remember his
Who are you
name.
thinking of?
Eamon
Holmes.
Yeah. What he
I don't know,
exposed
I'll stay
himself
out
to
of
a 16-year-old.
Did it?
Yeah. And,
Nah, but Philip Schofield did also like have a relationship with like a 15-year-old boy.
mate, it's crazy. All these BBC people. We should probably crack on with the spin.
Yeah.
Sorry, mate.
So
Just like
we've
talking
got
about
the next bit of the podcast.
Sorry,
Exposed
Louis.
in Hollywood,
Sorry, Louis.
Louis gonna love it.
Oh, the spin.
Louis, make sure you put a Philip Schofield meme in there.
The spin.
So
I forgot about
this.
this.
This is our wonderful wheel. I'm going to bring it into here. And I
Cool.
should be able to just go in there. And I'm just still in frame. I hope I'm still in frame. Right. So, dude, this is the wheel. This is an overrated, underrated wheel that we have
I like
created.
this. This is fun.
Yeah. So there's a lot of different topics and areas, and we'll do an overrated and underrated of each one.
Do yours, mate.
Yeah, you go ahead and spin straight away.
Just like that,
Yeah.
Quick answers though, yeah.
Yeah, speedy
Quick
answers. Okay, low-fat diet, overrated or underrated?
Overrated, mate. Hormone health. Come on, mate.
I rate that.
Goes
Yeah.
down to your
Yeah.
hormones. It's gonna make calorie control easier.
Mm-hmm.
It's obviously most calorie dense macronutrient, but overrated. You need your fats. Most people don't realize how satiating fats are.
Same.
Like as soon as you introduce fats into a diet that doesn't have a lot of fats, people are like, oh, I'm not hungry all the time. People are like, oh, protein. People forget how satiating fat is. It takes so long to break down.
Fun
Yeah.
fact: society tried. So society actually found with obesity, it was a calorie problem, and they thought it was fats that caused the calorie issues. So they decreased fat in foods, replacing it with sugars, other things to make it taste better, and then obesity actually increased.
Yep.
Right. What's it say? Intermittent fasting. I've told you before. I'm a little bit more 50-50, but
I'm
I
pretty
think
50-50.
I think it's. I can't say it's underrated or overrated. It really is dependent.
I think intermittent fasting, overrated. Delaying your first meal, underrated.
Okay.
Underrated.
Why'd you say that?
Yeah.
Because I think the term intermittent fasting gets so much hit on social media. It's like, oh my
Yeah.
god, I'm just intermittent fasting. It's like, that's nah. If you're not hungry in the morning, delaying your breakfast, gonna be unreal. Like that's gonna be so helpful.
So
a
it's
lot of
the
people
label.
don't wake
The
up
label's
hungry.
overrated.
It's the label of intermittent fasting is
So like
overrated
CrossFitters.
because people are like, oh, it's autophagy. It's like it's all of this. It's like,
Yeah.
actually, autophagy is the same as if you're in a calorie deficit and whatever. Like it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
But actually, as a dieting strategy, pushing back your first meal 2 hours.
Craving control as well. It can help
just-
with craving control,
Yeah.
and you can get
Yeah.
like I think we spoke to was it Amy
Amy,
about this
yeah.
about how you can have most of your calories for lunch and dinner. You feels like you're not on a diet.
Yes.
You just have to get
Yep.
through that hunger period, which
But
And
you
for some
can have
people
like
it doesn't
stuff like black
work.
coffees as well.
Yeah.
Like that's normally a way through.
Yeah, but just absolutely fuck caffeine over the first like couple hours of the day. That's what I do.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
absolutely like hammer it.
Everything, and then it just kind of drains
I'm
out
on
you
like my
later.
third. I'm second coffee on the way here. 2 coffees and a Monster today.
Strong.
what?
Yeah.
Cold plunges and ice baths, overrated or underrated?
Mate, all of these I have 2 sides of the coin. I'm too unbiased, mate. My problem. Let's say overrated. However, I do have a cold shower every morning, but just because it like kicks me in the ass.
Okay.
It's like, when you get that, I don't know. When I used to sit on the sofa in the morning before school, my eyes just used to close all the time. I just like so easy to get back to sleep. It just strips that. Like it strips that feeling away. You're just like, okay, cool. I notice my decision making's better as well. I get if I'm like feeling lazy and I'm woken up, I'm like, don't really feel like doing fuck all today. As soon as I have a cold shower, my head's so clear, I'm like sick. So like, actually overrated in terms of like all these health benefits. Again, underrated as like a method of just like starting the day.
I think underrated, like discomfort in the morning is underrated.
Yes.
Having having an uncomfortable start to your morning is so important to have a more comfortable end to your day. 100%.
Well, I couldn't agree more. I think the mental resilience part of the cold shower is the most important factor.
Looking at a shower and going, fucking hell, I do not want to get in that.
No one was... And actually, cold showers are worse than ice baths because cold running water is what makes it cold on your skin.
You get used to it. You sit in an ice bath, you get that thermal layer around you, don't you?
You do.
You start to heat the water up around you,
Yeah.
You don't get that in a cold shower.
Shall I go one more?
Go for it.
Go on.
That was a good spin, that.
That was a strong spin.
8 hours sleep.
8 hours of sleep. Overrated or underrated?
So underrated. So underrated. You can't get enough sleep, mate. We can, but
See, if we had anyone else on the podcast, we had what was it, the video that we did ages ago? There's a guy who was like, I get like 4 hours of sleep a day.
No, this is nuts. It's so nuts.
I do agree. It is underrated. There are some people though that genetically can actually get away with less sleep.
But I think a lot of people think that's them.
Yes,
and there's actually only like 2% of the population that don't need 8 hours sleep. Or like, some people at 7.
Yeah.
Me, pretty consistently, if I get 8 hours, I'm happy.
Because we had Phil Learning talk about that, didn't we?
We did Phil.
Do you know Phil Learning?
I don't know.
No, so he might be a little bit just before your time, but he was a fitness industry's like legend when I was in the fitness industry.
Okay.
And he is now like basically a sleep expert. He talks all about sleep, and he was saying it as well. Like there are some people that can sleep less, some people sleep more. Majority 7 to 9 hours. So
7 to 9 is
I'm more about quality over quantity because I tell you what, when we did the jog, I had a 3-hour kip that I got the same level of quality as when I had like 8 hours at home.
Nah, bullshit.
I did genuinely. My watch had the best quality, and I woke up and I still did a long day.
Lying,
my watch is true.
Don't get me started on watches.
I think for most people, they're struggling, they're hungry all the time, they don't have the energy levels, they don't have the motivation. You're not sleeping enough. You're just not sleeping enough. Like there's so much that it fixes.
What would you say is the number one reason they don't sleep enough?
I think most people don't realise that they need more sleep. They're like, well, I'm waking up, aren't I? Like, do you know what I mean? They just kind of fumble through their day. They don't know how good their energy could be, or how good their decision. Like, there's a correlation between sleep and decision making, like critical decision making. Like, you're way worse at decision making when you're under rested, and like that in terms of fat loss, that's huge. Like waking up and going, actually, fuck this today. Like, I don't care. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, actually making good decisions and hunger hormones.
Yeah.
You don't sleep enough. Ghrelin goes through the roof. Like, leptin just doesn't exist. Like, you're just hungry all the time and never full. So I think biggest... What was the question?
What was that? I don't know.
You've lost yourself in your conversation.
Biggest reason why people don't sleep
I woke up
enough.
at 2 a.m. this morning. All right.
Oh, rough.
Yeah, I had the shittest sleep ever. So
this is a good conversation.
Very relatable right now.
Biggest reason why people don't sleep enough, I just think they don't understand how the difference it makes.
I think
if you
they
make it a priority,
underappreciate it.
people have got kids. Like I get it. It's hard to like. You don't have to get perfect 8 hours every night, but you've got to try. And a lot of people just don't even try.
With marketing as well, like we're taught that most people aren't even aware they have a problem. Yeah. And so the reason why you see content that says you've got a problem, you've got this problem, this is a problem, this is a problem, is because you need to become aware you've got a problem before you can fix it. It's a lot of people wake up and think it's normal to feel like shit.
Yeah, you're just like, oh, it's just groggy until I have my first coffee.
Yeah, like, just because everyone around you's feeling crap as well doesn't mean you should be feeling crap. Like, you should be feeling pretty damn good most days. Even working a job that you don't necessarily like, you should still be waking up relatively good.
The feeling of waking up and being like, opening your eyes and sitting up and going, oh, like, that's so good.
It is an amazing feeling,
like, I'm not tired, I'm well rested. And a lot of people, I think, like when I'm at school, it was the thing, before I really knew about sleep. You wake up every morning, you're like, oh, this is a drag. Get out of bed. Do you know what I mean? Whereas like you wake up fresh, you're like, I mean, I've got the privilege as well. I can go to bed whenever I want, wake up whenever I want.
Yeah.
Most of the time, pretty solid. In bed by 8.
Yeah.
Sleep by 9:30.
Yeah.
Wake up 5:30.
Yeah.
Love
So I
it.
like waking up at that time. I'm
an early bird.
Yeah, same.
I love the world
I like
before
getting up.
anyone
As long as
gets
you go to bed early enough,
Yes.
then yeah,
That's
5:30 is brilliant.
Yeah.
Fall asleep 9:30, wake up
Yeah.
5:30.
Ruins my Fridays though, because by the time I get a Friday, there ain't no way I'm staying up for anything on a Friday night. It's not happening.
It's a really good thing until you've got plans.
Yeah.
And then I'm looking at my watch. I'm like, fuck, it's 8 o'clock. I should be in bed.
Yeah,
But that's where you've got to live a little, and you've got to
Yes.
allow that
Yeah,
20% of the time where you do just go outside the rules.
That's for sure.
It's completely fine.
The only issue is when it gets 8:30, and I'm like, my body's like, you're
That's
in bed
early
by
for
now.
a 23-year-old, yeah?
Yeah, this is, mate,
That's early, man.
Like, it's just no.
This is like
I
60-year-old
never do
game right
anything.
now.
I
You've
never do anything.
mastered the 60-year-old's game.
I'll be having in common, like kicking a ball about, and I'll be like, 8:30 boys
8:30.
are getting tired.
Yeah, and getting sleepy. See, I'm more.
See, I don't have to ask you what it's like. What it'd be like if you're 90 years old, looking back to where you are now, because you are a 90-year-old in a 23-year-old's body. You are already
Strong, though.
living it just with the physical attributes of a 23-year-old.
I love it
Amazing.
though, mate. If I can get in bed at 8 and just read
Yeah.
for a little bit and then go to sleep, I'm such a bitch.
I'm such a hypocrite.
I'm such a
I
bitch.
watch a bit of YouTube before bed.
Oh, I do like a bit of YouTube before bed.
Yeah.
I try to limit blue light, but there's always a reel or two.
I just get caught in those random videos like Action Lab talking about like the how to make glass translucent, and I'm like, what the fuck am I watching?
I just get
Some
caught in like
weird
World War
YouTube
II
feed.
stories.
Mate, you should see it. It's popping with some weird stuff, man.
Oh, my phone's down at like 6:30. Like, I'm not on my phone
Really?
at all, which is why
Oh,
when you
see,
message me, I don't reply till
See,
the
I
morning.
love getting in bed and like wrapping up and then just like opening my phone and looking at a few reels. Like, there's something about
And
it. It's
actual
so
reels that you
bliss.
want to watch, not
It's
just fitness
so-
content over
Yeah, yeah.
and over again.
I have 2 accounts. I have one. I have
clever.
my fitness account and then I have my personal account, which
Same.
is just like the most heinous shit, but it's
Yeah.
so good.
Same.
It's just like, let's see a few people get hit by cars.
Yeah, that's like my TikTok feed. I'm not gonna lie. Right,
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
gonna wrap that up there. So, just on that topic,
The most off track.
but perfect. Like honestly, fantastic podcast. We've really enjoyed having you on. Where can people find more about you, your services, and what you do?
Jude Van Coaching, absolutely everywhere. Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
That's about it.
Yeah,
Jude Van
perfect.
Coaching.
Beautiful.
Amazing. Well, thank you very much for joining us. Make sure to like, follow, subscribe, and make sure to follow this lovely man. He's done a great job and he's going to impact the industry in a wonderful way. We'll catch you guys later and show some lovely support.
Thank you for having me on.